I want you to do something for me. I want you to name the last time you went to the cinema and just watched a movie. I'm not talking about an installment. I'm not talking about a chapter in a 12-part saga. I mean a standalone, self-contained story that began when the lights dimmed and ended when the credits rolled. A movie that didn't require you to watch 3 seasons of a streaming show first or read a wiki page to understand why a 3-second cameo in the post-credits scene is supposed to make you excited for a movie coming out in 2028. It's getting harder to remember that feeling, isn't it? For the last 15 years, Hollywood hasn't been selling us stories. They've been selling us real estate. They've been obsessed with the universe building, the idea that every film must be a trailer for the next film, and every character must be a link in an infinite chain. But in 2026, the data is finally in, and the verdict is clear. The obsession with the shared universe hasn't just bloated the industry, it has fundamentally broken the mechanics of the blockbuster. To understand the damage, we have to look at what I like to call the heroic engine. A story works because it has a beginning, a middle, and, crucially, an end. The ending is what gives the journey its meaning. It's the scar that stays with the audience. In the classic era, a blockbuster like Jaws, The Matrix, or even Gladiator was a complete meal. Even if sequels came later, those original films were built to stand alone. They were emotional events. But after 2012, the industry shifted. They saw the success of the MCU and decided that interconnectivity was the new gold rush. The standalone hit was suddenly rebranded by studio executives as lost revenue. Why sell a single ticket when you can force the audience into a subscription to the brand? This shifted the very psychology of the audience. We stopped being participants in a story and started being investors in a brand. We weren't asking, is this movie good? We were asking, how does this set up the next 5 years of the multiverse? When you prioritize the universe over the film, you kill the tension. If we know the hero has a spin-off scheduled for 2029, the stakes in the 2026 movie aren't real. They are protected by a corporate release schedule. You've traded drama for logistics. This brings us to the nostalgia gap and the replacement template. Studios assumed that if they built a universe, the audience would follow it forever out of a sense of obligation. They treated us like a captured market. But cultural attachment isn't a subscription service. It's a relationship based on trust. In 2026, we're witnessing the content density collapse. When you force an audience to watch 40 pieces of media to understand one film, you aren't providing value, you're providing a homework assignment. And eventually, people stop doing their homework. The replacement template failed because it tried to swap the load-bearing audience, the people who loved the original sincere stories, with an imagined new audience that cares more about the lore than the characters. In the 2026 Q1 box office, we saw something fascinating. Projects like Project Hail Mary and Hoppers dominated, while the aging shared universe sequels struggled to find the same footing. Why? Because those standalone films felt like events. When a movie is part of a universe, it stops being an event and starts being an update. It's like a software patch for your phone. You need it to keep the system running, but you aren't excited about it. The universe model killed the theatrical urgency. If a movie is just one piece of a puzzle and you know it'll be on streaming in 45 days to complete the collection, why go to the theater? This is the substitution failure in real time. Hollywood substituted the must-see movie with the should-watch content, and they're surprised when the box office numbers reflect that decline in passion. The industry is currently pivoting back to what works. Look at the most anticipated films of this year: Christopher Nolan's The Odyssey, Steven Spielberg's new projects. Even within the Marvel ecosystem, the most successful recent hits, like Spider-Man Brand New Day, are those that are being marketed as standalone entries that really lit a fire in the actors, rather than just Phase 6 requirement number 4. The shared universe obsession removed the auteur, the visionary behind the camera, and replaced them with a creative committee. This resulted in the slop backlash we're seeing in 2026. Audiences are rejecting films that feel like they were assembled by an algorithm. They want a human persona behind the film. They want to feel that someone actually wanted to tell this specific story, not just that a studio needed to fill a slot in Q3. But what did we actually lose when we lost a standalone blockbuster? We lost finality. There is a specific, quiet power in an ending. It's the moment the scar of the story sets in. It's the moment we say goodbye to a character and their journey becomes part of our own internal history. When a story never ends, when it's just a phase in a saga, the human brain doesn't store it as a memory. It stores it as data. We've replaced myth-making with brand management. Being a fan used to mean loving a character's journey. Now, it often means defending a corporate ecosystem. And that's a lonely way to watch a movie. Heroism is meant to be a sacrificial act, but it's hard to feel that sacrifice when the hero is just a franchise asset that needs to be preserved for the next quarterly report. The cinematic universe isn't going to vanish, but its dominance as the only way to make a blockbuster is over. We're moving into an era of common ground storytelling again. An era where the load-bearing wall of the audience is demanding quality over quantity. They want to be surprised, and you can't be surprised by a movie that was announced on a slide at a corporate retreat 4 years ago. The standalone hit is coming back because it's the only thing that can actually move the needle. It's the only thing that can create a new scar. It's the only thing that treats the audience like people rather than data points.
Hey, Phil Connors!
Ned?